Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to our VectorVest YouTube Live Trending Thursday. I like Jake's statement. Hello, everyone in VV Nation. I like that. You know something? Let's make that a hashtag. Just like Saporium put hashtag eyes on MTI, I think we should put hashtag VV Nation. I think we need to make that happen. Yes, Joey? Okay, hashtag VV Nation. There we go. Joey typed it in the room. Let's see if we can make that go viral. Hashtag VV Nation. Welcome to everybody, one and all. My name is Glenn Tompkins, Senior Instructor here at VectorVest. My pleasure to be here on the tail, the coattails of our successful, hot stock panel yesterday. A lot of people were there. Good gravy. There's a lot of people there. Wow, Trade Shark's already starting with you. Joey didn't say anything to you today, Rich, and you really gonna start? Really? It's all right. He's gonna put you in timeout. Sitting to my right is Joey. Joey is my producer here. Say hi, Joey.
Hi.
There you go. He's the guy that makes everything in the background work out the way it's supposed to. So glad that you're here. Mansour, Paul, Marie, Saborian, Robert, Jake. Paul is here. Never got an email about yesterday. Interesting. I don't know. A lot of people got emails, my friend. You got to check to see if you were, if it's going to your spam folder. Let's see. Who else is here? Of course, Trade Shark is here. Always glad to see you. Fahad, hello to you as well. All right, Com is here as well. So don't be afraid to chat in the room. I love the interaction. And you guys can see each other's type that you see in here. Jay, be good. Don't start no trouble up in here. All right, don't start no trouble up in here. Joff is here as well. So, Jen is here. Oh, you got it? So, hi, Jen. Subscribe to the channel so you get all the notifications. So, if you didn't get a notification, maybe you haven't subscribed. David said, first timer, welcome here. I'm glad to see any new person that's here. I also want to start off by saying, please comment, like, and subscribe. Please do that. Comments is so important. I want to hear what you think about these presentations, what you like, what you don't like. You guys have a voice. Use it. I personally try to go through and answer all of the comments that come up myself. So don't be afraid to comment. Let us know what you think. Steve says also a first timer. Excellent. I'm glad that we're getting hold to new people up in the room. I saw you made, Trade Shark is actually part of my Twitter, and I get to see a lot of the trades that he and his group make. He does a lot of options, and he looks like he does really, really good. Fahad, hold on to your stocks. I will get to them towards the end. I'll give you guys an understanding of what you think, what we think about any particular stock. Dan, another first timer. Outstanding. All right, with no further ado, let's get into what we do on Trending Thursday. What we do is we go out to the stock world. We look to see what stocks are making the news, and we cover them in Trending Thursdays, whether they're good stocks or maybe not so good stocks. If these are stocks that you own and they're not doing so well, it gives you a heads up on how to trade them. Or some of you may find great opportunities to get into some new stocks if the market timing is right. So keeping that all in place, my friends, let's get into it. The first thing we always do, we always look at what's going on in the market. VectorVest has a unique way of actually timing the market. Now, when I say timing the market, especially to the people who are brand new to the room, we don't predict which way the market is going to go. We are trend followers, and we keep our subscribers on the right side of the trend. So depending on how you invest in the market, we have a market timing signal to get you in and out of the market at the right time. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to the home page, and we're going to start to break down what's going on in the market. First off, you're going to always see what's going on with our major indices, the Dow, the NASDAQ, the S&P, and what we call the VectorVest composite. This is an indexed arithmetic average of all of the stocks that we track. Remember, we track 8,245 stocks. We put all of those stocks into one indicator called the VVC, and right now it's trading at $51.76. We can clearly see that all of the major indices are up today. The Dow is up about 93 points. But the headliner for today is the NASDAQ, up about 0.6%. So everything is up. That's a good thing. We now move over to our market timing gauge, which is our daily traffic light into the market. Currently, with today's activity, we're one tick into the green, which means that the color guard is mildly bullish, and we give you insight. VectorVest does advocate buying safe, undervalued stocks that are rising in price at this time. So, one tick into the green, the color guard is mildly bullish, and it's okay to buy stocks. Now, down below is the color guard. And the color guard tracks three of our market timing indicators. Price, which is the price movement of that VectorVest composite. Remember, I told you right now it's trading at $51.76. Well, we track this indicator on both the week-over-week and day-over-day basis. RT looks at the short-term price trend of the market. Now, RT is cast on a scale between 0 and 2. When RT is above 1, the market is in an uptrend. And when RT, as it is here, is below 1, the market's in a downtrend. The next indicator is the BSR, or buy to sell ratio. This is an indicator that looks at the overall health of the market. Now notice, every stock in our database gets a buy, sell, or hold recommendation every day. When the market is showing signs of strength, we then have more buys in the system than sells. And when this indicator, the buy to sell ratio, is below the value of 1, we then have more sells in the system than buys. So keeping all of that in mind, we can clearly see when the market is showing signs of strength or signs of weakness. Based on the color guard, the movement of these indicators on both the day-over-day and week-over-week basis, we have a mixture of all three colors in the color guard. Let's see, we've got 5 green, 4 red, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 yellow. So when the market looks like this from a color guard perspective, this is a time to sit back and say, wow, let me chill out, let the market come to me. But on a bullish day, you can take advantage of the market on the bullish side. But on a bearish day, you might want to think about hedging some of your long positions. But this tells me that the market is in a little bit of turmoil. If you're at a traffic light and you see all three lights, what are you going to do? You're going to be confused as heck as knowing what to do. So I don't want you to be confused. I do want you to know that the market is showing signs of strength, that the RT tells us the market is moving up, that the underlying trend of the market, which is that MTI, is above the value of 1, and the trend column, which looks at the primary wave of the market and the underlying trend of the market, are both up. But the slowest, most conservative timing call we have is the confirm call. We are still in a confirm down call. Say again? What's wrong with my Duke cup? Oh, you want everybody to see my Duke cup? There we go. So there's my Duke cup. But I'm going to move it out of the way because Joey's a Carolina fan. And he, I'm going to stick, don't touch my cup and put that cup in the garbage. We're going to fight live on TV. All right? Don't be putting my cup in the garbage. All right, the VIX is under 15, says Jay. And when that happens, it tends to show that the volatility in the market is low. But Jay, I do want you to keep in mind that over the last 6 trading days, we've got every color being represented in here as well. So just be careful with that. All right, so from the home page, we can clearly see that today is okay to buy stocks. We do have a green light in the color guard pricing column. We're going to get a press from the, we're not going to get no visit from the press tomorrow. Smoke Carolina this weekend. Oh, Joey doesn't like, Joey's a Carolina fan. Trade Shark is like Steve. He's a Seminoles fan. That's all right. But the Seminoles are going to get smoked by Duke this week, so it's all right. How do you get a VectorVest mug? We're going to talk a little bit about that towards the end, but I'm letting you know that we are going to start selling VectorVest mugs. Joey didn't bring one out for me to have a look at so I could show it to you. It's over there. You want to get me one? You don't have to. Joey says no. All right. So anyway, we are going to start selling the VectorVest mugs. You guys have been asking for it. So we're working on that. We're going to get a link so that you can click on to get the mugs. All right. And again, hold off on your stocks. Wow. There you go. Joey gave me a mug. Thank you, Joey. Here's the mug. It's a VectorVest mug. All right, and I think the going price is
I think 15.
about $15 for the mug, and we'll start doing that starting next week. All right, we're going to present a link for you to be able to order it directly. All right, so now we know what's going on in the market. Let's start talking about, oh, here we go, flash flood warning in the area. There we go, my phone is doing weird things. It does that. I love that it does that. All right, so there we go.
Let's tell them what they said today about 10,000 subscribers.
Oh, that's one thing. That's right. So we're going to start off with mugs. But once we get to it, thank you for reminding me, Joey. Once we get to 10,000 subscribers, we're going to have the means of doing some semblance of a VectorVest store, which offers more than just mugs. So that is something we've got to have at least 10,000 subscribers to do that. And right now, where are we sitting at, Joey?
8,967.
We have 8,967. So you guys need to spread the word, tell people about this, get them to subscribe. Once we get to 10,000 subscribers, I believe that we will be able to open up more of a VectorVest store. So, but we can starting hopefully next week. We'll provide you with a link to be able to sell some mugs. All right. Do you sell VV boxers? Wow, really?
I think it'll be whatever you want.
Well, sort of, kind of. It looks like we can do that kind of stuff as well, Jake, and golf balls and all that. So we'll see what's going on with that. All right, let's get into our first story. Well, we always, I did that again. What do I do, Joey? What do I need to go back to? Here? Here?
Yeah.
This one?
Well, you need to choose this one.
Oh, you did it. Okay. There we go. Let's get into our first story. What is the big mover in the market right now still is the coronavirus. It still weighs heavy, and this was a story done yesterday, February 5th. Coronavirus fears weigh the S&P 500 down. All right, how about VectorVest replica stoplights? Well, you can do a whole bunch of things, and this is where, Jay, you saw what Jay did? This is where your voice is going to come in and see what you want. I'm going to keep this in mind. How about the virus is rapidly spreading viral infection that generates severe flu-like symptoms that is approaching pandemic status. That's big, and that's why it's still big in the news and why we have it as part of Trending Thursday. The shift in how far forward investors are now focusing their attention in making their current day investment decisions is what's prompting the U.S. stock prices to fall. At this point, it's a little too early to identify the downward fall in stock prices as a new levy flight event, which would be the second such event in 2020, though last week's action on Friday, January 31st, suggests it may be the start of a new one. So, will Joey sign your mug? Joey, will you sign his mug?
Absolutely.
Excellent. So, let's take this whole coronavirus. I'm going to get into the software. And you guys remember, we do have a listing of coronavirus stocks. So right here, I created a list. I did this as a story a few weeks ago where I came up with a list of stocks that were coronavirus stocks. Here they are. We have 14 stocks that are in here. Once you watch this as a recording, you can pause right here so that you can take all of these stocks and put them into a VectorVest watch list. All right? So just keep that in mind. Now, I want to do something, and I haven't planned this already. We talked about the coronavirus last Thursday, right? I'm going to move this list back to the last Thursday, and I'm going to do a quick test of all of these. By the way, has anybody taken advantage of any of the coronavirus stocks that we're talking about? Anybody? Type a yes in the room. Type a yes in the room if you have. All right. In the meantime, I'm going to take a look at what happened with these stocks over the last week. Oh, interesting. And again, this is what I'm not afraid to show this. Some of these stocks made money, but more of them did not. You know why? Many of these stocks, not only are they biomed, but they are lower dollar stocks. So Kevin said yes. Now, Kevin, did you cherry pick the stock before you jumped on board? And I like, Asif says, too risky, lost money. NNVC, says Kevin, and that's where's, and wow, NNVC took a big hit last week. As we look at these stocks, I'm going to bring this back up to now. All right, I want to show you something in regards to the coronavirus stocks. All right, I'm going to graph them really quickly. Graph all. Keep in mind, if you're going to cherry pick the stock, first off, make sure that the market's moving in your direction. Number one. Number two, make sure before you pull the trigger that you're pulling the trigger at the right time. Look at levels of support and resistance. Did you have an opportunity to make money on some of these stocks? The answer is maybe yes, maybe no, but look at the graphs before you pull the trigger. A lot of these are moving sideways to down. All right, yes, they were in the news, so I did make a watch list, but noticing that over the last week, a lot of these are pulled down. I'm trying to see if there's one that did pull up. Here's one. What was the date that we did this? Was on 1/30. This one gave you an opportunity to make money real quick and get out real quick. This one also, there's the NNVC. After we talked about it last week, it did gap up, but just real quick, it pulled back down. All right, so even though we talk about these as hot stocks, all right, or trending stocks, always make sure that you pull the trigger on the right ones. And not only that, how about, just like somebody said they're too risky, well, maybe only look at the stocks that have good upside potential, where the RVs are above 1. So keeping that all in mind, that is my first story in regards to the coronavirus and what stocks could possibly be used for that. Anybody have any questions? Anybody have any questions? Somebody says MYO is rocking. Asif, is that one of the coronavirus stocks? Is that one of the coronavirus stocks? Joff says, so far the coronavirus has led to more than 20,000 illnesses, 427 deaths in China, as well as more than 200 illnesses and 2 deaths outside of mainland China. Thus the reason why I am trying to keep you on top of the story and possible stocks to take a look at. All right, with all of that being said, let's go to our next story.
Did you do the VC and SPY?
Oh, no, I didn't. I'm going to come back to that. No, actually, I should do it now. All right, because the market, what we always do, we always look at what's going on in the market. Let's go back to the 2 indicators that we use for timing the market. The 2 that we primarily use is the VectorVest composite, and for those of you who are not subscribers, we also look at the spiders. So I'm going to bring up the spiders, I'm going to bring up the SPY and the VVC. Let's view the stock graph in regards to what's going on in the market. Put this on a 3-month graph. I'm utilizing normally a 3 and an 8 exponential moving average. Let's go see if I have one for, no, we'll go here. There we go. All right, and I'm gonna take off stochastics, not one that I normally use, but I will keep on volume and I do want to keep on earnings per share. All right, the SPY, look at that, as the market is still rising, look at that. We got a little level of indecision in the spiders right now, even though we're still hitting a new 3-month high on the spiders. Be careful with a little bit of a doji or indecision going on in the market right now, all right? Move that down to the VVC. VVC is more of an up bar today, but look at that level of resistance sitting at the 3-month high. Make sure that for more comfortability that you want to see if we can take out that level of the high before you jump on by backing up the bus and putting a lot of stocks on. But the 3 and the 8 exponential moving averages did cross. The market is moving higher after we got a little bit of a bottom right here, a little bit of a bullish harami followed by the 3-8 crossing, and the market's still moving up. Keep in mind, though, we are getting to the headwinds of another level of resistance, so just be careful. All right, let's now close that out. Now, let's go to our next story. The next story is dealing with 5G. Okay, 5G is still another hot topic. Samsung Display to invest nearly $11 billion to upgrade production lines. This is all about a 5G company getting ready to ramp up. Now, another thing is Samsung Display, a Samsung Electronics unit supplying flat screens to who? Apple, the biggest supplier of, I still think the biggest supplier of phones, but that could be, it depends on what you think or what you're saying. But they're going to put some flat screens to Apple, and it plans to invest 13.1 trillion won, Sounds bigger as one, but it's about $10.3 billion to upgrade its production lines by 2025. Also with Samsung. Samsung looks to 5G to boost its business in 2020. Samsung has a number of businesses, from chips to smartphones, which could benefit from the increased rollout and adoption of 5G networks. Samsung may be a beautiful stock to keep in mind. Problem is, in the VectorVest software, we do not track it, but I am going to see what we can do to rectify that. And also in the 5G space, Qualcomm, it was up a little higher than 1% after it beats and is in line with outlook. Another 5G stock, it reported that it beat earnings and it beat revenues. Quarter one EBIT was $1.3 billion, up 28% year to year. If this doesn't tell you that 5G is on the rise right now, then I don't know what is. So let's go back into the software. Let's go back to our watch list, and I'm going to pull up Qualcomm. All right, Qualcomm as a 5G stock. Let's go look at it. The stock is a little bit overvalued between the price and value. The stock's upside potential, or relative value, cast on a scale between 0 and 2, tells me that this stock should outperform a AAA corporate bond by 17% over the next 1 to 3 years. Today, because we just released a new video on YouTube talking about one of our indicators, relative safety, this is a key indicator that shows the consistency and predictability of a company's financial performance. Earnings is the engine that drives the stock's price higher. Relative safety above 1 is favorable. I'd love to have it more above 1 than where it is right now, but it is above 1. RT, which looks at the short-term price trend of the stock, is at 1.16. Qualcomm is currently in an uptrend. Our master indicator VST is at 1.12, and the stock is a buy recommendation. It keeps bouncing. I'm looking at real-time data, so it's bouncing between buy and hold. And the cool thing is that they are growing their earnings by 16% a year. Now, instead of just looking at Qualcomm, we do have a 5G watch list specifically for you guys. I'm going to open it up. Let's go see what stocks are in here, sorted by our master indicator. And I've got 45 stocks in here. But we're going to look at the top 20 stocks. By our master indicator VST, what stocks could be better than Qualcomm? AMD. By the way, it's a slightly overvalued stock, and just because the stock is overvalued doesn't mean that it's a bad stock. It means people are willing to pay a premium to own the stock. Here's that relative value, which was in our videos last week. We released about how important that indicator is. It looks at the stock's upside potential. 1.42, this stock should outperform a AAA corporate bond by 32%. The indicator we released this week, relative safety. This is a relative safe stock. Little less risk involved, and this is in the 5G space. The stock is definitely in an uptrend at 1.53. The higher above 1 it is, the faster in an uptrend it is. Our master indicator places this stock at the top of the list, and they grow their earnings at a clip of 30% a year if we go down the list. How about Microsoft is in here? Overvalued as well, good upside potential, safe stock, actually safer than AMD, and going up at the same rate of speed as far as price movement. Stocks a buy, they grow their earnings at a clip of about 17% a year. Apple, we're going to talk about that in a minute. Google, a little bit overvalued, good upside potential, good safety, in an uptrend right now, growing their earnings by 15% a year. Another stock that many of you know about, NVIDIA, slightly actually it's big time overvalued, but look at that. The upside potential as compared to some of these other stocks, not nearly there, but it is a safe stock, and they are flat on their earnings or earnings growth rate. Let's sort this by the fastest moving stocks in this industry in 5G. Which one is moving the fastest? Here's a stock, SSTI, way overvalued. The upside potential, not so good. The safety, not so good, but it's moving up in price. This stock is now more of a trade in the 5G space. And look at this though. They are growing their earnings at a clip of 44% a year. So I can use these indicators to determine whether I want to have good upside potential. Let's sort this one more time by safety. Which stocks in the 5G space are the safest? Alphabet, Skyworks, NVIDIA, Micron, Apple, Intel, Microsoft. These are the safest stocks in that space, and that's the power of using a VectorVest watch list and using this 5G watch list to stay on top of. Since it's a hot topic, find the right stocks based on how you invest. And yes, it's a 45 stock list, but only look at the top 20 by any one of these indicators you want. All right, 5G top 10 stuff up 1.9 today, says Joff. Anybody else have any questions in regards to the 5G space? Folks, this watch list is already in the software for you, but I've put it into our Trending Thursday watch list so we can find it quickly. But this is a great way to stay on top of 5G. And if I go back to the graphs real quick, actually, do I want to go back to the graphs? No, I want to go back to my watch list because we have, if you're interested, if you want to look at the whole space in one ticker symbol, that would be the 5G. You click on that, right click, view the stock graph. That is the whole industry in a nutshell. So if you don't want to take advantage of the individual stocks, we put on a 3-month graph. If you don't want to take advantage of the individual stocks, here's the whole industry of all of the 5G related stocks. The 3 and the 8 just crossed. Watch as it stopped right at resistance today. Be careful if you're going to jump in on it new. Does anybody have any questions on this story? Does anybody have any questions on this story? And while you're answering, don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. And while you're answering too, I'm going to make a plug for our Facebook presence. Patrick France, which is another instructor here at VectorVest. If you like the content here, we do have a Facebook presence. Patrick does a presentation every Thursday at 11 a.m., which talks about our mobile app. So VectorVest is on your phone or on your tablet. He walks you through how to analyze stocks on your phone, on your tablet, every Thursday at 11 o'clock. Every Thursday at 11 o'clock. Just go to Facebook, or Jen, if you're in here, type the link that they can get to for the Facebook. All you really need to do is go to Facebook, look for VectorVest, make sure you like it, and then you'll be updated on when we're going to be going live. All right. Patrick did a great job as always on Facebook Live. Thank you, Jay. What's a good time to get into 5G? So, a good level to get into 5G, Fahad, think about this. The stock's price is coming right up to a level of resistance right now, which is this green line. It stopped right there. If I'm going to think about getting into 5G, let's wait until we can break above that level of resistance to get to our next level of resistance, which will be sitting at 27.43. We stopped right at resistance today. I would rather see us go above that before we pull the trigger on 5G. All right, Fahad? All right, if there's no more questions, let's get to our next story. Our next story is about Boeing. Boeing made the news again in a bad way. This was done yesterday. Boeing plane skids off the runway in Istanbul, killing 1 passenger. Passenger jet operated by Turkish discount carrier Pegasus Airlines broke apart today after veering off the runway upon landing in wet weather in Istanbul, killing 1 person and injuring 157 out of 177. The rear of the 737-86J plane split into 3 pieces, caught fire as the front became detached after a drop at the end of the runway, according to Turkey's health minister. The 737-800 predates the grounded 737 MAX. So this plane, the 737-800, was before the 737 MAX, and it does have a good safety record, but anytime something bad comes in the news about Boeing, that's not a good thing. Let's get back, let's go take a look at Boeing. Boeing is slightly overvalued overall. The stock's upside potential is not nearly as good as some of the other stocks in here. This should outperform a AAA corporate bond by 2% over the next 1 to 3 years. The safety is above 1, it's favorable. The stock is still in an uptrend overall, but probably pulling back. It is a hold, and the earnings growth rate is at 5%. Now, TradeShark says it's up 4% today. Let's go view the stock graph. Let's take a look. Big bounce. Take a look at the stock, though. Very interesting. I have a trend line on Boeing. It's a downward trend that finally did break down, break through the downward trend. The 3 and the 8 cross, this is more of a trade. How do I know? Look at the earnings per share. Earnings per share is not so good. And keep in mind that earnings is the engine that drives the stock's price higher. So TradeShark is an options trader. And from a trade perspective, it's a good open day today. Where is it stopping? Right at a level of resistance at 344.41. Look at where the wick is. Look at where the body is. Right at that level of resistance. So just be careful with it. That is a pop. That is a trade, not a longer term hold. Now with that pop, a lot of volume, that's great. But earnings is the engine that drives the stock's price higher, not where you want to be. So keep that in mind. I do like that it broke through the trend line, the downward trend. I do like that it's at a level of resistance. I really need that earnings per share to start popping up. But it is definitely a trade, not a longer term investment, and that's just a pop today. One day doesn't make a trend. All right, let's close out of that. Any questions on that story? TradeStark says, not touching it, no reason to. I'm with you on that. One big day up doesn't mean that it's the same thing. It means that it's ready to go rock and rolling. All right, let's get to my next story. Beyond Meat is back in the news. KFC to sell Beyond Meat's plant-based fried chicken in the southern U.S. Listen, I ain't eating the Beyond Meat burger. There's no way that I'm eating the Beyond Meat fried chicken. Joey is, though. Joey says he is. Right, Joey? Yeah, Joey's saying, yes, he will. He's going to eat I'm not going to eat it. I'm just curious to know. Is anybody in here willing to try the Beyond Meat fried chicken? Just type a yes in the room. I'm just very curious to know. All right, my personal opinion is I won't eat it. It's like I won't eat a Beyond Meat burger. And Job says he'll try it. All right, and you know something? I'm thinking that it's a more healthier way to go. Hey, Jen, I'm going to put you out there. There you go. Jen, I wanted to know. Jen says yes. Steve says no way. Listen, I'm a carnivore. That's what I am. I eat meat. But a lot of people are saying yes, they'll try it. I'm with you guys. I'm not eating it. I'm not saying that I'm eating it. But I like the idea that you guys have as well. TradeShark says, have had the sausage and the burger. They are excellent. See, there you go. The sausage is now in Dunkin' Donuts, right, Joey? The sausage is in Dunkin' Donuts. So it is still the big craze. Beyond Meat said it will supply plant-based fried chicken to KFC restaurants in Tennessee and North. It's coming to us. Oh, Joey's going to try it sooner than later. Tests conducted last year show a strong consumer demand. So people want Beyond Fried. Look at these people standing online to get some Beyond Fried chicken. I hear that. I like meat in my meat. I'm with you, Robert. Jay says, I've had the sausage and the burger as well. It's okay, but would rather have meat. All right. So there we go. Let's go take a look at the stock. It's in our watch list. Let's go take a look at the stock. Analyze it real quick. Beyond Meat. Stock is way overvalued. That means that a lot of people have a big perception on Beyond Meat. They're investing in it, driving that stock's price high. We're saying that the stock is only valued at $11.48. Let's look at the upside potential. Wow. The stock does not have good upside potential against the AAA corporate bond. Look at the relative safety below the value of 1. This is a much riskier stock, but what is driving it is RT. That short-term price trend of the stock is bringing it's above the value of 1. The stock's in an uptrend, but look at our master indicator, VST below 1. It's a hold, but man, look at this. You can't beat that either. They're growing their earnings at a clip of 38% a year. Now, because I see that the fundamentals are not there, this is also strictly a trade. I made a lot of money. I doubled my my investment on Beyond Meat last year. All right, I bought it at $100. I got out at a little bit like 202. All right, the stock still went up even higher than 202, but I made my money and ran. And right now, I know that Beyond Meat is definitely more of a trade. The fundamentals are not there to buy that stock. Glenn said the sausage is in Dunkin' Donuts, right, Joey? Ha ha ha. See, Glenn knows. Well, anyway, Job says it has become closer to value, but then again, I have said that about Amazon and Tesla. Listen, This is not close to value. This stock is grossly, grossly overvalued. All right, let's go take a look at the graph real quick. What's it doing? Man, even knowing that it's a trade, look at the trend. Look at the trend on the stock is pulling back even with the news from KFC. All right, let's take off the last close. Even with the news from KFC, overall the stock fell. It based for a while. It sprang, found a level of resistance at 135.46 and is pulling back. Right now, put this on a 3-month graph. By 3 and 8 are even bearish, but with the news, the 3 and 8 might turn around and bust up through there to that level. If you do get it on a 3-8 cross, you have a profit target of about 135. That may not be a bad trade, but you need the 3 and the 8 to cross first. You need the 3 and the 8 to cross first. All right, any questions on that story? Excuse me. Yes, hit the like button, says Trade Sark. Oh, yes, you did hit the trade. You did hit it? Good. Excellent. Remember, folks, we're trying to get more subscribers. If any of you are brand new in here, don't forget to comment, like, and right now even subscribe. We get up to 10,000 subscribers, folks. We're going to be able to really open up some semblance of a product store. All right, so there you go. And like I said, next week we're going to try to have a link available so that you took the cup away?
You gave it back to me.
All right, so that we can start selling our mugs next week. All right, let's get to our next story.
Took it away. You act like I took it home.
You did take it home. All right, next one, Visa or Mastercard. Which one you want to get into? Why I think Visa may be the better long-term investment, and this is an idea from somebody. Both companies recently reported excellent financial results. Looking at historical data, Visa has a lower beta, all coefficient, better operating margin, fresh cash flow, blah, 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 blah. So somebody says that Visa is better and they give you all this stuff. Let's go straight to the videotape. Let's go to the videotape. Let's go take a real good look at the two of them. Here they are, Mastercard, Visa. Mastercard, slightly overvalued, $329 compared to a value of $230. Good upside potential at 1.31, good safety at 1.43, and the stock's in an uptrend. VST at 1.36. If I'm looking at strictly at the VST, Mastercard has got a better all-around ranking than Visa. How about they're both growing their earnings at a good clip, and they're both buy recommendations. So let's go look at the graphs to really get a feel of which one is better. Wow, look at Mastercard. Put that on a 3-month graph. Love the equity curve on Mastercard. Paul says he's in both. I'm loving this. Russell, hold off on your stocks. I'm going to give you an opportunity to look at your own stocks in a moment, Russell. I got you. All right, Mastercard outperformed in the last 5 years on the performance graph. So let's do that. Let's go move this from, before we do that, let's go to the second one first because I like Asif's situation there. Look at Visa, though. Visa's a little interesting in that right now from that most recent high, the stock is a little bit of a downtrend. Look at that. Very interesting, but also basing at a level of support at 198.80. But right now moving a tad bit sideways. Would really like to see Visa break out of that downtrend. Looking at the high, I do love the earnings per share. And so both of them have really good earnings per share, but Mastercard looks a little better. So let's do this. Let's go move it from a stock graph to a performance graph where we'll look at Mastercard and let's go actually add on Visa. Let's look at the two of them on a graph and we can see that Mastercard over the last 3 months is outperforming Visa. The last 6 months, Mastercard, which is this ugly line, is outperforming Visa. Over the last year, Mastercard outperforming Visa. So I love the story, but I guess by way of the VectorVest software, we can back up the story that Mastercard might be the better play. All right, there might be a better play. And let's go put this on a 5-year graph. I don't know if we tracked them all. Look at that. Even over the last 5 years, folks, and look at the disparity between the two. Mastercard is actually blowing the doors off of Visa over the last 5 years. Visa has made several acquisitions that may impact earnings per share. I'm with you on that, Jay. But if I'm looking at which one to get into, I'm thinking that Mastercard might be a better play. How about being able to take that story and corroborate that story with the power of the VectorVest software. Both of these companies, though, are good companies, good fundamentals, moving up, good earnings growth, buy recommendations. But if I had to put my money somewhere, maybe Mastercard is the better way to go. All right, anybody got any questions about that story? Anybody? Going once, going twice, 3 times the lady. You gonna cut that out, Joey? Mm-hmm. Wow, so Joey's gonna edit that and cut that out. If you don't want Joey to cut that out, type in the room, don't cut. All right, let me see how many people say don't cut.
Nobody.
No, really? Nobody said don't cut? All right, anyway. All right, let's go to my next story. Nobody cares, nobody cares. Apple, let's get into the stream wars. Still hot and heavy, all right? And I'm gonna look at the 3 biggest movers in the stream wars. Apple now, this was an interesting story. Apple now sells more watches than all Switch watch makers combined. That's huge. That is huge. So just putting that out there. Wow, David says cut. Nick says don't cut, but David says cut. James, hold off on your stocks. I'm going to give you an opportunity to pull up your own stocks, all right? Never cut out Glenn's wit and singing, says Badger. All right, keep that in mind. Badger said it. All right, again, so when I ask for stocks, James, you can then type in IIPR. I got you. So this wasn't on the stream side. Joey let me know that Apple hired one of Netflix's big guys. I couldn't find the story. I couldn't corroborate the story. No, so it doesn't matter. I'm just putting out about the watches, but I'm also going to look at Apple from the stream war perspective. They're growing big time. Everybody's still going after Netflix. Now, talking about growing big time, I'm going to go to Disney real quick. Baby Yoda powers Disney streaming subscriptions to a fast start. And Joey did let me know that Disney is putting up for 5 years of The Mandalorian. 5 seasons, sorry. 5 seasons of The Mandalorian. Any of you watch The Mandalorian? Joey and I both do. All right. Paul says, does this stuff work? Yes, Paul, this stuff really works. Jade says, Apple should just buy Netflix. You know, something that may not be, I couldn't find it. So Joey found the story. Apple hires Netflix engineer Ruslan Meschenberg. Apple has hired Netflix engineer, an important employee who helped build the platform and made it fast and stable. So Joey found the story. I couldn't find it, which is fine. But that's another reason why Apple is trying to make, that's big. They went after a big Netflix executive and got him. That could help definitely in the stability of the Apple TV. And again, Disney putting out that 5 more seasons of The Mandalorian. I think it's a great show, Fahad. I think The Mandalorian is a great show.
It's a space western.
It's like a space western. That's a good way of looking at it. It's like a space western. It's a good show if you like Star Wars, and it is an off-take of Star Wars. It really is. So Baby Yoda, that is not Yoda, by the way. I think everybody calls him Baby Yoda because he looks like Yoda, but he ain't Yoda. That's not Yoda. That's probably Yuda, not Yoda. Yuda, it's like Yuda man. That might be Yuda man, but not Yoda. All right, Disney destroyed the Star Wars movies. Paul, I'm not a big, I may not agree with that. I think that the Star Wars, even the later Star Wars stories that came out still had a good storyline. Listen, I'm a kid from way back when the first Star Wars came out. It was good and wholesome. I just think that as the technology advanced, the storyline advanced, the sword fighting with the sabers advanced, all of that kind of stuff. But I think they did a really good job piecing together the prior Star Warses to the last one, and I think that the last Star Wars really did a great job of wrapping everything up together. That's my opinion. If you haven't watched the last Star Wars yet in the movies or on DVD or whatever, watch it. I think if you're a diehard Star Wars fans, it really did a good job bringing the whole saga to an end. That's, again, my opinion. Teresa says, don't cut. So I got somebody else that says, don't cut. Paul says, the writing in the newer movies was god-awful. I'm looking at the stuff. I'm just, something? I like the stuff. That's the way I look at it. I like this stuff. I want to be in a Disney musical. Wow, Jake. All right, then. You go do that, bro. All right, let's go take a look at these stocks. All right, let's go see which one is really rocking in that world. There's Apple, there's Netflix, and then there's Disney. If we look at Apple, slightly overvalued. Look at Netflix, way overvalued. Look at Disney, also way overvalued. Now, what does catch my attention, as much as I love Apple, the upside potential is not there right now. So the moves that they're trying to make, they're trying to bring up their earnings growth. Look at that earnings growth rate. And more recently, it was at negative 2%. At least it's getting better. And right now, they're at their earnings growth rate is straight flat 0. So the upside potential on Apple is not there. The upside potential on Netflix really is slightly above 1. And Disney put so much money in getting their streaming service out that they have negative earnings growth. But Disney has been around longer than the both of these probably put together. Disney has been around longer than Apple and Netflix both put together. So keeping that in mind, Disney is still a solid company. That the relative safety on the company is good. And what's hurting Disney right now, the RT is a below 1, so it's not in an uptrend. Whereas Apple and Netflix RT are both above 1, and they're moving right now. Disney will catch up. Disney's got a lot of subscribers because they've got the biggest vault of movies other than outside of everybody. They've got the biggest vault, but Netflix is trying to put out new content after new content after new content, and Apple stumbled on to a winner for them with The Mandalorian. So keeping all that in mind, if I look at these graphs, let's go take a look real quick. Which one would I take right now if the market continues? I love Apple. Look at that. Apple's still hitting historically new highs. I'd wait to see if Apple can bypass that level of resistance at 327.85. Love the 388 cross. I love that it bounced off a level of support. Watch the volume, though, as the stock's price is moving up. Not a lot of people supporting that. I do like the earnings per share, but I definitely want to see this stock break above that level of resistance. Looking at Netflix, hit a new time high over the last 3 months yesterday. A little bit of a pullback today, but the 388 is still solid on it. How is growth calculated? Earnings growth rate looks at the forecasted earnings, past earnings, to give you a sense of if they're growing their earnings. So when I look at a stock's ability to make money, not only make money, which is the earnings per share, but grow that, they're looking at a percentage of growth of that earnings per share. That's what it is. It is a percentage of how much on a year-over-year basis they're actually growing their earnings. And the last stock that we're going to look at is going to be Disney. Disney, again, is not catching up right now, but keep your eye on Disney. I'm still a big fan of keeping your eye on Disney, especially with the vault of movies that they have. Big down day yesterday, a little bit of a reprieve today, not a lot, but the 388 exponential moving averages are still bullish on it. Volume is pretty steady. Earnings is falling. It is less than it was 3 months ago. And keep in mind that earnings is the engine that drives the stock's price higher. So keeping all of that in mind, does anybody have any questions about anything in the stream wars? CNBC talking heads keep writing off Netflix. Netflix keeps going up. Right now, Paul, Netflix is going, you know why Netflix is going up? Because they're still the big boy in this space. Everybody's still trying to catch Netflix. Netflix is the big boy, and they still have a lot of subscribers. You keep getting subscribers, that adds to your bottom line. If it adds to your bottom line, you're growing your earnings. So absolutely, let the talking heads talk all they want. But when I can go and analyze the stock and see that the stock's got good fundamentals with the RV, good fundamentals with the RS, and moving up in price, the talking heads can talk all they want. All right, Jay says Netflix has great content, and it does. Netflix outpacing Apple and Disney. I agree with you, Joff. That's why you'll always hear me say that Netflix is still the big boy. Apple and Disney are trying to catch them. Apple and Disney are trying to catch them. All right, with all of that being said, I got about 10 minutes. So before we get into looking at your stocks, get them ready. Don't type them yet. Get them ready because we're going to do a quick fire on your stocks. Remember, folks, especially if you're new, if you like what you've seen here today, don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. I really want you guys to comment, whether it's just to say hi or anything. I want the comments, and we have a subscriber goal now of about a little more than 1,000 subscribers. We're trying to get up to 10,000 subscribers, and once we do, we're going to have the ability to actually set into place a little bit more of a VectorVest store. All right, you guys have been looking for that, been looking for the ability to buy cups and things. Hopefully we'll start selling the cups next week. But once we get to 10,000 subscribers, we will have more of a VectorVest store as well. Jay says The Witcher is pretty good as well. I do like The Witcher. I do. And one last thing, remember, we do have another social media presence on Facebook. Go out to Facebook, look for VectorVest. Like the VectorVest page, you will be alerted to when Patrick does his mobile app. And again, this mobile app is amazing. Everything for the most part that you can do in the software, you can do on the go on your phone with the mobile app. So go out to our Facebook page, like it, and you will be updated on that. With that, am I selling Duke cups? No. I am.
No.
Yeah, I am.
No.
And we're going to burn Carolina cups. All right. With that, all right, on your mark, get set, go. Put your stocks in that you want me to take a look at. Jay puts in GSX, comma, ENPH, comma, PRFT, comma, Tesla, good stock, comma, GPN, Groupon, comma, SMSI, comma, somebody wanted IIPR, I remembered that, IIPR, comma, SKX, comma, ESLT,
Did you skip that AUDC?
comma, I did, AUDC, comma, I put SKX, ESL, BABA, ABABA, comma, PEN, PENN, comma, SMSI is already there, Shopify, comma, FTF-TC, Michael, I can only type in American stocks. If that is, I don't, unless there's two different stocks. FTS, comma, and what was the other one? TC, comma, those are two stocks, okay. AUDC, I already got that in there. TDY, comma, TU. I'm really looking for my new people to put some stocks in here. LHX, comma, did you see the cut Joey put on the Badger? What did you just do to Badger? Email me. He didn't put no cut on them. All right, going once, going twice, and IRBT will be the last one. IRBT. Hopefully I got some stocks in from my new people today. I'm going to put these on the 3-month graphs. Now I'm going to tell you what I normally look at on a graph layout. Number one, I look at a 3-month graph. I do not tend to look at stochastics. I look at volume, and I will look at earnings per share. So I do look at two moving averages, a 3 and an 8, a 3 and an 8 exponential moving average. I think it does a really good job even on a long-term stock or on a short-term stock. I got one more stock that I'm going to put in, that's TDG. TDG. That's going to be the last one, TDG. Man, sure, I got a lot of stocks in here right now, and I got FTNT. All right, so what I look at on a stock graph, all right, I look at a 3 and an 8 exponential moving average. I look at support and resistance. I look at volume, and I look at earnings per share. All right, I'm going to make my earnings per share more of an area because it makes it stand out a little bit. And I look at a 3-month graph, especially if I'm trying to swing trade. AUDC, good update today. Coming off a level of support, a little bit of a hammer formation right now. I like that the stock is moving higher. What I'd really like to see is the 3 and the 8 crossing before I pull the trigger. Also knowing that it's coming up to a level of resistance, just be careful with that. But the stock is coming off of a protracted downturn, candlestick pattern, the 3 and the 8 haven't crossed. Whoever gave me this, if you're looking for an entry or if you're in it, leave it alone, because that was a real early entry. But if you're looking to get into it, I'd wait for the 3 and the 8 exponential moving averages to cross. Love that earnings is higher than it was 3 months ago, and as it's moving up, watch the volume. I'd love the volume to keep up with the stock's price moving to the upside. ESLT, first thing I noticed, earnings per share is lower than it was 3 months ago. I want everybody to understand that earnings is the engine that drives the stock's price higher. Now, the stock's 3 and the 8 just crossed today. We have a solid green candle. It's green because it's higher than the previous day, but it's solid because the price started at the top of the candle and came down. Be careful with that. That could be a bearish reversal known as a hanging man. And it could be a possible reversal. Not only that, the stock's got a new level of resistance sitting at 159.47 as it's trading at 155.49. So yes, the 3 and the 8 crossed today, but a solid green candle, which means the price went down from the open today and earnings is lower than it was 3 months ago. Penn, love the stock. All right, the stock is moving up nicely. 3 and the 8 cross, nice moving higher. Great open candle. Love the great open candle. Very little wick at the top. Jesse's not. Is Jesse here? Jesse is not here. As he calls that hair. A little bit of give back, but not a lot compared to the rest of the body of the stock. I like that the volume popped today as well, along with the price, and earnings per share is a tad bit lower than it was 3 months ago, but more so starting to come up on the rise. And I like that the stock is a buy recommendation. If I'm going to think about getting in, I'd probably go 12 cents higher than the high. If I'm already in the stock, leave it alone. All right, if I'm already in the stock, leave it alone. SMSI, 3 and the 8 cross. Love the earnings per share. The 3 and the 8 cross crossed way back here. Could have been a great opportunity to get in. We did have 2 levels of resistance right here. It broke through. Love that breakthrough, followed through, moving up. And because the stock is moving away, the 3 is moving away from the 8, I would probably trade this strictly off of the 3 exponential moving average. Love the big volume on that. Oh, Jesse is here? Just that Google named me again, just went to, oh, okay. Is that what it is? So, Joff, are you Jesse? Dang, how come I didn't know that? All right, big little wick at the top. Just be careful with that. It is a $6.30 stock, but definitely moving up. Definitely moving up. Next one, LHX. Love the earnings per share. Love the volume. And the stock's price is nicely up today. Watch though, if you're in it, it's right at resistance. Would love to see it continue moving higher. Love this equity curve after the 3-8 cross, still moving higher. That was a bearish reversal that had follow through, but no more follow through after that. And not only that, reason why I like the 3 and the 8, look at the pullback. Even on the pullback, the 3 and the 8 held. All right, if you're not in it, let's see if it can go above that high, about 12 cents higher than the high. If you're in it, leave it alone. All right, leave it alone. I like the trade. Next one, PFRT. Love this trade as well. This was on our hot stock panel yesterday. 45-degree angle on the stock. Look at that. Look at that. That's a beautiful 45-degree angle on that stock. Love that. And you know something? If I'm trading this even for the longer term, why not use that trend line as a level to get out? If the stock's price breaks below that trend line, that would be a great opportunity. Who gave me PFRT? And if you gave it to me, do you own it? This is a good looking stock. Love this stock. Watch the volume though as the volume starts to fall off. But I would use this trend line as a means to manage the trade. Big time. Big time. Like that. All right, let's go to the next stock. SKX, a little bit more choppy in the 3-month graph. Went up, pulled back down. Right now, basing at a level of support right up in here somewhere. Yeah, this is probably where a good level of support is. And I would wait. If I'm on this, if I'm not in it, I'd wait for the 3-8 to cross. Whoever gave me this, I hope you're not in it right now because the stock is definitely in a downtrend. Even though it's basing, let's wait for the 3 and the 8 to cross. And once it does, you've got good upside to this level of resistance, which is sitting at 44.49 as the stock is trading at 38. Once the 3-8 cross, you've got good upside as long as the market is moving higher to that level. That's a good profit target. That's a good profit target on the stock. Love the earnings per share over the last 3 months. Next stock, TDY, Teledyne. Pretty much moving sideways right now. When a stock moves sideways, moving averages are not nearly as efficient. moving averages are definitely trending indicators. So I could look at something like stochastics to get me in and out of the stock. But right now, just be careful with it. It's a $380 stock. The 3 native cross, definitely would love to see it break out of this little mini level of resistance before I take advantage of it. If you're in it, leave it alone. The 3 and 8 are still solid. Watch the volume though too, all right? Earnings per share does look good. Probably could find a better stock. The stock for the most part has been a buy recommendation, as you can see at the top, but I would probably look for a better stock, would be my personal opinion. All right, Groupon. Oh, nope, that's global payments. Another nice 45-degree angle on the equity curve. How about these pullbacks? 3 and 8 held. Pullback, 3 and 8 held. This is why we use the 3 and 8. Pullback here, the 3 and 8 held. They didn't go bearish. Love that. Earnings is still higher than it was 3 months ago. Should you add average volume? I could. I'm not going to, but I could. And if you wanted to add volume, add a moving average to volume, right-click on it, click on Add Moving Average. Simple. Dang it, I just did it anyway. Put a 40-day moving average of volume. And I can see if the stock is trading above or below its moving average. All right, let's go to the next stock. TU, another nice looking equity curve. And watch it though. Look at the 3 and 8 on the pullback as the sideways move. The 3 and 8 held positive. If I'm not in it, I'd love to see it go 12 cents higher than the high. Love the earnings per share. If you're in the stock, leave it alone. If you're in the stock, leave it alone. If you're not in it, I'm looking for the stock to go about 12 cents higher than the high to ensure that I'm buying into a rising stock. Whoever gave me that, that's a good looking stock. Next one, iRobot. Man, was on a little bit of a downturn as far as earnings is concerned. Big jump up today. I'm wondering if that was earnings news. Let's go put earnings on. Was that earnings? Yep, that was an earnings move today. Now, in case you didn't know, as a VectorVest subscriber, you can now add earnings to the graph. That was an earnings play today. So it must have beat earnings, big jump up. Now look at where it's pulling back to. See that wick? This is the body. I want to show you something. And this is why we look at support and resistance. Look at that. That's a good level of resistance. Where's it at? It's now below that level. So those levels of support and resistance are that important. How about the stock's price did jump up intraday above that level of resistance, and look at where it's at right now. So earnings did good, but you know something, not really sure I want it just quite yet until it can close above that level of resistance. Whoever gave me iRobot, does that make sense? Did you jump on it because of the earnings? And if you did, just be careful. Look at the pullback that happened today. If I would be more comfortable if it could jump above that level, because that was the last level of resistance back about 57.85. As you can see, I would definitely love to see the stock graph close above that level of resistance. All right, and let's go to the next stock. What else is here? Woo, TDG pulling back. Look at that high. Look at the 3 and the 8 have failed. The 8 is now above the 3. Earnings still looks good. I would rather wait to see if the 3 and the 8 can come back across if I don't own it. If I do own it, at some point in time, you don't want this to get away from you. All right, at some point in time, you got to take some of that profit off the table. All right, whoever gave me TDG, if you're in it, know that the 3 and the 8 have crossed. The stock is still a buy recommendation. I totally understand that. But as a means, this is why we use moving averages as a means to help us to get in and out at the right time. Glenn, is it true a lot of companies buying back shares, so if the number of outstanding shares are less than earnings go up? People are buying out shares, buying back shares to increase the bottom line for their shareholders. All right, but you can't do that forever because not everybody's got the money to do it time and time and time and time again. So a lot of the buybacks are designed to make sure that the companies are meeting or exceeding their earnings expectations. So just keep that in mind. All right, let's go to the next stock, which is Tesla. Tesla's been on the rise. And Jay, I did get your email. I just couldn't get the story together to give you more Tesla-related stocks. But, you know, this is why you don't get caught up in the quagmire of what's, hey, the stock's moving, woo! And look at that. Look at that. Be careful with stuff. And I got nothing to protect you against it. That was a gap down. That was a gap down after Tesla went up as high as it did. Understanding when you jump on stocks like this, that are rocketing just as quickly as they can go up as quickly as they go down. Now, even with the pullback, the 3 and the 8 are still in there. All right, the 3 and the 8 was in there. And Trade Shark is right. It gave you an opportunity to make some money with this nice upward move. Trade Shark, did you get out on this day at least? Because that was a lot of selling pressure followed that preluded the big down day. That was a telling sign right there that was the day to get out. That was the day to get out. All right, so keep on moving. That was a good trade for short term. ENPH, I like this stock overall too. Nice 45-degree angle. 3 and the 8 have been solid over the last 3 months. I wish that the volume was rising with the stock. The stock has now hit a new 3-month high today. Love the earnings per share. This is not a bad play. Stock is a buy recommendation. And again, I love the 45-degree angle on that stock. Alibaba, a little bit more treacherous. Up, down, the 3 and the 8 failed, found a level of a floor. The 3 and the 8 now crossed, but the stock for the last 3 days is going sideways. Earnings are still higher than it was 3 months ago. Just be careful. And actually, if you are in the stock, I'm going to give you a line in the sand right here after that gap up. This is a good line in the sand, and if the stock's price falls below it, you might want to think about getting out, and that's at a price of about $217.38. All right, that gives you a little room, little wiggle room, but look at that, good level of resistance right here, good level of support right here. If the stock's price breaks below that level of $217.38, you might want to think about taking profits off the table. All right, stay long. FinPro says, stay long with EMPH. I'm not going to say that yet. You know me, Rich. I'm going to let the stock talk to me. I'm not going to prognosticate. I do like that it's got a level of resistance up here. Good upside. Stock's a buy. Down day for 2 days in a row. Red down day, green down day. The 3 and the 8 is still solid, but 2 down days in a row. I would be at least keeping my eye on it. And that's it. That's all I'm going to say about that. All right, let's go to the next stock. Love Shopify, definitely moving up over the last 3 months. Even on the pullbacks, the 3 and the 8 are holding. Watch Shopify though, as the stock is now down for 2 days in a row. Let's see if on the close of business, if the 3 and the 8 holds. Watch earnings starting to fall. This is a bearish divergence. I want you to see that. Let's do our freehand line. Look at the earnings per share. Look at that and look at the price. This, my friends, is called a bearish divergence. Just be careful with the stock. All right, if you own Shopify, don't be afraid to take some of it off the table, as I can see the bearish divergence between stock and price. Look at that. Price is going up, earnings is going down. Just be careful. All right. Equity curve looks good, but you always know what goes up must come down. And right now, earnings is a precursor telling me something. All right, let's go to the next one. FTS, earnings lower on a 3-month basis. Not too happy with that. Stock is pulling down from its high. Not too happy with that. The 3 and the 8 have crossed bearish. Not too happy with that. Now, it has created its own level of support, though, right about here. It has created its own little level of support. What I will say is if you do own it and you haven't gotten out of it yet, here's your line in the sand sitting at $42.70. If the stock's price breaks below that, you probably should pull the trigger and get out or take at least half off the table. But look at the earnings per share, definitely lower than it was 3 months ago. Let's go to the next stock, IIPR. I like the recent break of it. I already had a level of resistance up here at 93.11. It broke through, followed through, hit a new high. Love the earnings per share. Here's another divergence though. Just keep your eye on that. Look at the stock's price moving higher while, in this case, volume is moving lower. All right, so keep that in mind. When a stock is moving up, I want the stock's price to be moving up on higher volume. On higher volume. All right, let's go to the next. So IIPR is moving up. The 3 and the 8 looks solid. 3-month high. I like all of those things, but at least it's on my radar to keep a closer eye on the stock. Next stock, TC. Don't like it. Don't like it. Look at it. Over the last 3 months, what's the stock's price doing? Moving down. For the most part, look at the stock has been a sell recommendation. The earnings per share is getting, Yeah, I'm not, and it's $1.23. There's nothing about this that makes me feel warm and fuzzy. A lot of non-volume or very short amount of trading being done. I'm not feeling that at all. I'd rather, if I'm even going to get into a lower dollar stock, let's make sure we're buying it as it's moving up. Right now, this stock is not doing that. GSX, on the other hand, is definitely moving up. Love that trade. Earnings is higher than it was 3 months ago, even though it's pulling back a little bit. How about the volume has just been steady? It was a down day yesterday, a little bit of a reprieve today. Big wick at the bottom, a lot of buying pressure coming into today's candle. Very little wick at the top of the candle. It's open. This is actually happens to be a bullish harami. Where do you leave comments? Asks Jay. Oh, when Joey puts the videos up. When Joey puts the videos up as a replay, that's when you can put comments, all right? Last stock, FTNT, that was yours, Manashore. Like the equity curve. Love the earnings per share, and volume is pretty steady. Hit a new high over the last 3 months, trading at 121.36, right at resistance. Open candle. This was another earnings play, all right? This was another earnings play. As you see the E on the graph, and it made money. So with that, I do like the equity curve, Manashore. Definitely do. All right, I'm 11 minutes over. But I got through everybody's stocks and I got through all of my stories. So if everybody, especially if you're new, hopefully you guys found some use out of this. I hope that you do it, especially my new people. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. Biggest thing I want you to do is to comment. New people, did you find this useful today? And if you did, will you be back again? And if you say no, that's fine too. I don't want you to say that. But if you do, you do. You know, I don't appeal to everybody, and that's fine. I mean, that's life. But all my new people, for all of you, hopefully you will be back again. I want to know if this made sense to you and if it was well worth your time to be here, number one. Number two, don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, and tell other people about it. We want to grow to 10,000 subscribers, and once we do, we can be able to put a little bit more of a store together for you. Roger says, yes, I'll be back. Great stuff. Russell says, I will be a regular. Excellent, guys. That's what I like to hear. David says, yes, great. So I'm appreciative of the new people chiming in. Glenn, thanks. Great presentation as always. Thank you, Claude. I appreciate that. And my good friend, Rich, we always communicate back and forth on Twitter. He's on my Twitter. He's on my Facebook, too. Jay's on my Facebook, too. So Crazy Kills says, yes, thank you for being here, and I'm glad you guys will be out. Joff says, I wish you was in the UK. Keep in mind, everything that we do here in the VectorVest software, we do have a UK version of VectorVest. So Joff, or Jeff, we do have a UK version of the VectorVest program. All right, so just keep that in mind. Dave says, I'll be back. Excellent. Kevin says, love the information. And Jake says, thanks again, Joey and Glenn. Manashore says, thank you very much. You are great. With that, Joey, say bye.
Bye.
There we go. We love having you guys here. We'll be here again next week. David says, yes, but it's no VectorVest 7 for UK yet. There is a VectorVest 7 UK. We got an EU and a UK, Roger. We've got a, what time do you go live each Thursday? Every Thursday at 2. Every Thursday at 2. Eastern. Every Thursday at 2 Eastern. And David, we do have a VectorVest 7 UK. We do. All right. Adios. Arrivederci. Ciao. Oh, it's not real time in UK. It's not. But a lot of what we do here, you can put your same watch list together in the UK and do a lot of the same analysis. All right. See ya. Bye.